The following is a 10-point plan by Alice Bailey to destroy the Christian family structure and bring in the New World Order. Is it happening today? Point one of the 10-point plan of Alice Bailey is take God out of the schools and teach daily. No consequence for your actions. Evolution, survival of the fittest, Charles Darwin's pollution. 1962 Supreme Court ruling said the Bible was unconstitutional for schooling. Prayer to the one true God was taken out. Corrupt kids and program sheep without a doubt. Point two says diminish parental authority. Teachers in school should have superiority. The agents sent to indoctrinate our kids to accept the whole one world fate. They want a generation that's raised by the state. Mixed up morals and values they can't contemplate. It's similar to mind control and mind rape. No parents there to mold their minds to good shape. Point three, destroy the Christian family structure. Take the father from the head of the house, put the mother in charge. Make it hard for the dad to find work. Make him feel like a helpless man with no worth. Break him down to the point that he is a beginner. Mom's off to work, now she is the only breadwinner. As she's lost all respect for her man, she can't hide the fact that her husband really can't provide. Point four, make abortion legal and easy to get, and have sex with no regrets. People use it as a form of sex contraception. Terms like the word fetus, straight deception. All part of the man's diabolical plot to depopulate the whole earth a lot. The world lost with the stench of death. Corrupt system that gives more rights to animals that are living. Point five, forget being married for life. Get divorced easily from your husband or wife. Don't think twice, cheat, find your showmate. Live your life to the fullest, that's the way that it is. And do without guilt, that's the whole of the law. Party like it's the end of your life, and do it all. Go out, do your thing, leave your spouse at the crib, and forget about every bad thing that you did. Point six says, make homosexuality an alternative to living traditionally. Live immorally, incest, bestiality is okay as long as both parties agree. You can see from history, societies fall when man decides to uphold immoral laws. Unnatural affection, change complexion of America, going in the wrong direction. Point seven, debate start and make it run mad, ungodly. Could this be the case today oddly? Movies and music filled with pornographic and violent images is way too drastic. Made to shape and mold minds like plastic. Power to reach out to every demographic. All to break down the morals that Jesus Christ has given us to live everyday life. Point eight says, use the media to promote and change the mindset of everyday folks. It's no joke how they use the news, owned by a few rich men to distort our views. On cue, they use techniques to hypnotize and dissect. It's called the Hegelian dialect. Direct mind control aimed at you, designed to make you think how they want you to. Point nine, the goal is to try to create the one world religion done through the innovate, in which Christianity will have no place. All praying to the same God is what they'll say. They'll insist we coexist and all chant words with the Buddhists and Muslims, prayers that's never heard. Cause the gods they pray to, the statues and idols not alive like the true living God of the Bible. Point 10, get the government involved with this. Politicians make laws for this. Make it seem like it's good for the world and that everything's bliss. Make the people all fall for this. Get the church to endorse it. The plan of Alice Bailey you can see implemented into our lives daily. Through the court system and the votes get overturned. Your vote don't really count, it's what you just learned. You think people be marching and will be concerned as our free constitution is steadily burned. Christianity, the family drowned in the water. Luciferian plans of the New World Order. New World Order.
See, being a Christian is not a religion. It's a way of life. It's a renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2 says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
Life's so crazy, oh, it's hard to stay focused, it's true. Games being played, so I gotta watch what people do. Smile in your face, though, behind your back they trashing you. I can see the clues, so I gotta do what I gotta do. Cut out the negative and add some positivity. Got so much love to give, and now it's time that I receive. Moving on forward with the goals that I want to achieve. For Jesus Christ I live, and it's in Him that I believe.
Born again, so my mind's renewed. I think differently and do the opposite of what the world would do. Won't conform to the ways of man, not like you. God's opened up my eyes so I can see food. Like lost sheep, Satan got you all confused. Following celebrities, believing in fake news. Morally, your mindset is filled with worldly views. Time to choose salvation is what you might lose.
Cut out the negative and add some positivity. Got so much love to give, and now it's time that I receive. Moving on forward toward the goal that I want to achieve. For Jesus Christ I live, and it's in Him that I believe. I'm not of this world, no, this place is not my home. Totally opposite, feeling like I stand alone. My mind has been renewed, and most of you don't have a clue. Jesus is the truth, and I pray you will believe in Him too. Cut out the negative and add some positivity. Got so much love to give, and now it's time that I receive. Moving on forward toward the goal that I want to achieve. For Jesus Christ I live, and it's in Him that I believe.
Turn to your Bibles to 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Yo, God commands us to stay unequally yoked with this world of criminals and unsavory folks, like sheep and goats, not of this world like Paul wrote. Can't wait to get out of this place, I can't cope. They shoot dope, smoke weed, and drink all day, blinded to how Satan makes them think that way. They deceive their lost souls, and soon will pay. Walk up to heaven's gates and get turned away. Cut out the negative and add some positivity. Got so much love to give, and now it's time that I receive. Moving on forward toward the goal that I want to achieve. For Jesus Christ I live, and it's in Him that I believe. Cut out the negative and add some positivity. Got so much love to give, and now it's time that I receive. Moving on forward toward the goal that I want to achieve. For Jesus Christ I live, and it's in Him that I believe.
Hello. I gotta pause this. I need to be here. There we go. Hello, Shawn. Are you muted, Shawn? Because I can't hear you.
Yes, I was muted. Sorry about that. Hello, Erin.
Hey, I've done it before myself. I've muted myself many a time and had a problem. I really want to mention real quick, if anybody's watching, please hit the like wherever you're watching from, whether it's Facebook, D Live, or I don't know if there's a like on Twitch and D Live, but Facebook and YouTube. I have a new YouTube channel. That is why you don't find me on YouTube if you're there, Joey, because you were saying I can't find you on YouTube. That's because YouTube took me down, and so I had to start a new channel. And it's very small. Instead of 6,000 subs, there's 60. But that's okay because 6,000 people were not tuning in live anyway. So it's okay. We'll start fresh and maybe get a more loyal following. Greetings from Germany for Johannes. And Jared says hello. And Bart says they're in Arizona. Shawn's in New Jersey and I'm in Montana.
That's right.
Yes. Anything you have going on since Tuesday? Haven't seen you since Tuesday.
No.
Not a thing. Okay. Well, I don't know if you can adjust your camera, but you're very up high and I'm kind of down low.
Let's see.
So I can try to come there. Oh, now whoa. Now you're way low. I got to fix that.
Am I good?
I guess I could have fixed this before we started. Okay, now we are. Jared says, I'm driving and working, so I may not be here.
I can fix that.
No, leave it. No touchy. Stop. Okay. All right, so what I am going to do is we have lots of articles that we want to go through, but because you were in that song, Go Ask Alice Bailey, you want to tell everybody what that song's about in case they weren't listening, because some people skip the music portion.
Ask Alice Bailey is a song about Alice Bailey, who has a 10-point plan to destroy Christian, Judeo family, religion, if you want to call it a religion, but and bring in a new world order. This was written in the 1800s. She has a book called I cannot remember the name of the book, but the 10-point plan is take God out of the family. That's one of the points. Another couple of other points are take the Bible out of schools, take prayer out of schools, use the media to change people's minds, to corrupt people's minds. Music and art is another way that she wrote it up. But everything that she did in her 10-point plan, you can look it up yourself online, the 10-point plan. And you'll see that everything that she talks about is being implemented right now. And one of those things was bestiality. Well, it said live immorally. You can have sex with animals if you want. You can have sex with kids as long as the other party agrees with it. So I think we're leading into this story here where, go ahead, you can take it from there.
Yeah, I finally got it to clear up. It's taking Odyssey is where I have a backup channel also. Besides the fact that I'm on Facebook and Twitch and D Live and YouTube, I've also got Odyssey. But so does James Freeman. I went to James Freeman's YouTube where I actually originally watched this video, and it's not there anymore. So either YouTube took it down or James took it down for some reason. But James Freeman has this video up about this guy right here in the sunglasses that he admittedly, because he got caught on a lie detector test as lying about something. I think one of the questions they ask is about bestiality, probably because they might be working with canines. But they're both wearing sunglasses. The guy in front with the sunglasses. Anyway, he admitted that he had had sexual intercourse with his own dog. And at first he tried to say it was many years before when he was younger. And that somehow came to light that he was lying again. And then he admitted it was only days before he'd had the interview to become deputy. And they still hired him. So if you want, I'm going to tell you that James Freeman is the name of the guy you would follow. You can find him on Odyssey and YouTube. But this video is no longer on YouTube. But the fact that this guy can go out and get a job, probably maybe not working with the canine unit, I guess, but go out and get a job after admitting to having sexual intercourse with his own dog just days before his interview. So those are the police.
Disgusting.
And you said something about these guys are supposed to have a higher moral indicator or whatever. They're supposed to have more morals because that's why they get to carry a gun where we don't, right?
Right.
Right. They tell us that their morals are better than us. They take these tests and psychological tests and all this stuff too. And I know a few cops. I knew a few of them that went through the training and all that. And that's what they do, take psychological tests. And they're supposed to be have better morals than we do. That's why they're able to, have the authority over us. I guess they think they do, and they can, like you said, carry guns and do the things they do, like tell us that we're wrong and pretty much be the judge of us is what they are. So they think that they're morally better than us, so they can judge us and tell us that we're doing wrong and prosecute us for supposedly doing wrong. When this guy, as we just heard, that's not moral. That's very immoral. It's sickening and immoral. And he shouldn't have a job. Not as a cop. He could go take any other job, I guess, but not as a police officer where their morals and standards are supposed to be better than ours.
Yeah. So when you see that cops will come and say you can't be here for this reason or you can't carry a firearm on this property, but they can be there with their firearm and their Kevlar suits and because they have a higher morality, I guess, than the rest of us, and that's why they're allowed into school zones or federal buildings with guns because of that. So anyway, I won't dwell too long on that, but it says Shawn has a really bad echo. I've been muting myself, so that echo should be going away. Otherwise, I don't know how to fix it. I haven't heard that before. Well, anyway, we won't dwell on that. But James Freeman because I have so many live things that we're streaming to that I'm not going to share this link. But you can find James Freeman on Odyssey. I suggest it because he covers corrupt police officers and the way they handle situations, and he's really good at that. So if there's an echo, it's probably because I don't mute myself. So when I try to mute myself, I have two problems. One, sometimes I forget to mute myself, so there's an echo. Two, I forget to unmute myself. So I'll do my best to be on top of it. So thank you for letting me know. I wanted to bring up this article. It says Nvidia's new supercomputer will create a digital twin of Earth to fight climate change. It says it's crunch time on climate change, and companies, governments, philanthropists, and NGOs around the world are starting to take action, be it through donating huge sums of money to the cause. Of course, really that's what it's about, is making a lot of dollars. Building a database for precise tracking, so there's more tracking of carbon emissions, creating a plan for a clean hydrogen economy, or advocating for solar energy, among many other initiatives. But according to Nvidia, to really know where and how to take action on climate change, we need more data, better modeling, and faster computers. Dun, 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 dun. That's why the company is building what it calls the world's most powerful AI supercomputer dedicated to predicting climate change. The system will be called Earth 2 and will be built using Nvidia's Omniverse, a multi-GPU development platform for 3D simulation based on Pixar, based on a company that creates movies
Disney
for kids.
movies.
Yeah. Their universal screen description. In a blog post announcing Earth 2 last week, Nvidia's founder and CEO Jensen Huang described his vision for the system of a digital twin Earth. They love the twin thing. Digital twins are not a new concept. They've become popular in manufacturing as a way to simulate a product's performance and tweak the product based on feedback and simulation, but advances in computing power and AI mean these simulations have become much more granular and powerful, with the ability to drive meaningful change. And that's what Huang is hoping for with Earth 2. Quote, "We need to confront climate change now, yet we won't feel the impact of our effort for decades," he wrote. Wait, I thought we were going to die in 12 years, Shawn.
Well, that's what they say. If we don't fix climate change.
We're going to die in 12 years, but that's okay. He's going to do this that's going to help us in decades down the road. And David Gabriel says, hello. Hi, David.
What's up, David?
It's hard to mobilize action for something so far in the future, but we must know our future today, see it and feel it so we can act with urgency. Plenty of climate change models already exist. They quantify factors like air pressure, wind magnitude, and temperature and plug them into equations to get a view of the climate patterns in a given region, representing those regions as 3D grids. The smaller the region, the more accurate a model can be before becoming unwieldy. In other words, models must solve more equations to achieve higher resolution, but try to take on too many equations and will make a model so slow that it stops being useful. That's why they need this AI stuff that moves very quickly and learns. This means most existing climate models lack both granularity and accuracy. The solution, a bigger, better, faster computer, like I just said. Quote, rate greater resolution is needed to model changes in the global water cycle. Meter scale resolution is needed to simulate clouds that reflect sunlight back to space. Scientists estimate that these resolutions will demand millions to billions of times more computing power than what's currently available. Maybe they should get themselves a D-Wave computer. I'm sure Jordy would be happy. Earth 2 will employ 3 technologies to achieve ultra-high resolution climate modeling: GPU accelerated computing, deep learning, and breakthroughs in physics-informed neural networks and AI supercomputers, and a ton of data. The ultimate aim of this digital twin of our planet is to... Oh, hold on. We've got a porn bot. And gone. Where was I? The ultimate aim of our digital twin of our planet is to spur action that will drive meaningful change, both in terms of mitigating the negative impacts of climate change on populations and mitigating climate change itself. Extreme weather events like hurricanes, wildfires, heat waves, and flash floods are increasingly taking lives, damaging property, and forcing people to flee from their homes. Yes, because they care so much about people, they're going to spend all this money on this supercomputer AI that's a twin of Earth and believes in space. If we could accurately predict these events much further in advance, those headlines would change. Huang hopes Nvidia's model will be able to predict extreme weather changes in designated regions decades ahead of time. People would then know to either not move to certain areas at all. How come they don't already know that? We already have like Tornado Alley. Just don't go there. Why would you live there? Of course, we're having tornadoes in weird places now and stuff. I get it. Or to build the infrastructure in those areas in a way that's compatible with impending climate changes. So this is a way to control where people will live and build.
Yeah. You gotta ask yourself, are they really even doing that? Or are they just taking money?
If they're really doing it, it would control where people could live and build, and they could say, well, they can say they're doing it and still control people and tell people where to live. Right. They could say, well, you can't live here. It's not compatible. There's too many tornadoes here. And so this isn't zoned for that. And this will definitely include the country more than anything. They'll be saying, well, you can't build there because we've zoned us as incompatible because of climate events. Like you said, whether they happen or not.
Right. Now, my thing is, you can see how Satan is trying to get out in front of everything. That's what he's trying to do. But the whole climate change, global warming thing, Satan is basically trying to get out in front of things. So the Bible tells us that there's going to be different types of weather patterns, crazy weather patterns. There's going to be tornadoes in different places that they shouldn't be, like you stated earlier. There's going to be earthquakes in places that they shouldn't be. And there's going to be different types of weather, hot weather where it shouldn't be, cold weather where it shouldn't be, at certain times of the year. The Bible says that all these things are going to be happening. So the Bible predicts this, and Satan knows the Bible. So Satan, in order to counteract it, will get out in front of it and say it's just climate change. It's global warming. And get people to believe that that's what it is, so they don't believe what the Bible says.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if it looks like they made an image, but I don't know if this image has anything to actually do with their supercomputer twin model. But it's a globe, and they love the twin thing. So I wanted to just bring this up, that Janus, the Illuminati god of chaos and deception, is a twin image. And Janus, we bring Janus up a lot in the Solomon Report, but being the Illuminati god of chaos and deception, I thought was important. First, chaos, like all the weather change, but deception being the lie. That they're, talking about how they're going to handle sun reflecting in space, and that the Earth is a globe. And so when it comes to the twin stuff, the twins and that Mengele tortured, then a lot of this stuff can go back to this god Janus, who is the two-faced god of chaos and deception. Anything you want to say about that?
No, you nailed it right on the head. You really hit it. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah. So anyway, you can do more twin research if you guys want, but this one's fun, Shawn. So let's have some fun.
Ooh, fun.
Psyops are a crucial weapon in the war against disinformation. So psyops, which are disinformation, are a crucial weapon. This is what they're teaching people now, so that the normies, I guess, their brains will say, oh, psyops are good. Psyops are needed because they fight the war against disinformation. So I'll read this, see if it gleans any really good information for us. When Sweden's Navy tried to hunt down a suspected enemy. Sorry, I'll try not to cough, but I've got a runny nose and I might sneeze and I might cough, so hang on. If I can't read, are you able to see this in case I have to get away?
No, it's like really blurry on my end.
Oh, darn, okay. When Sweden's Navy tried to hunt down a suspected enemy submarine in the Stockholm archipelago 8 years ago, its efforts were ridiculed by Russian media and officials who trolled their armed forces chief and accused him of pursuing a phantom vessel. Since then, hostile states including Russia, China, and Iran have increased in their use of disinformation and online propaganda to amplify anti-snakebite sentiment and foment political tensions in Europe and the U.S. concerned about the potential for this to undermine democracy. Sweden has just launched an agency for psychological defense. Other countries would do well to follow its example. This guy is the head of the new agency's operative division, says aggressors are increasingly trying to sow division by targeting areas of public concern such as crime, jabos, the government's response to the fake planned emic, and immigration. Quote, these are low-intensity campaigns that are constantly in operation, and when a specific issue is in the news, the activity increases. As many countries have found, the planned emic has spawned a new breed of disinformation, which has spread as rampantly as the fake virus. This is not only from usual suspects, but also from new actors who are copying Moscow and Beijing's methods. Private sector organizations are using a commercial offering known as disinformation as a service to conduct malign influence operations against their competitors. The results are alarmingly obvious. Disputes about the supposedly made in the lab deal and the jabos to fight it are already dividing populations. And just as the minority of people who refuse snake bites undermine wider efforts to stamp out the fake made in a lab deal.
6 foot killer.
That's right. That's what I'm supposed to call it. A minority of citizens can ruin their country's resilience against adversaries by believing the damaging falsehoods spread by the other side. The rumor unleashed by Russia's KGB in the 1980s that the U.S. Army created HIV, which is still in circulation now, shows the last harm of an eye-catching campaign. The 6 foot killer planned demic has been fueled by the fact that many people believe anti-snakebite disinformation and distrust messaging from their own governments. Oh no! People are distrusting messaging from their own governments. This is horrible.
That's not possible. I don't think that's true. Not one bit. I jest, of course.
Sadly, it's true. Just imagine the effect that incendiary disinformation could have on the current standoff between Russia and NATO. Public trust in the government is the Achilles heel of Western democracies, seeking to defend themselves against innovative adversaries. So, they're trying to say we're terrorists. Disinformation aimed at weakening public confidence in its military forces or political leadership can have a potent destabilizing effect. Yeah, you can't be a dissenter. The U.S.'s deep social and ideological divisions may be rooted in its domestic political history, but Moscow's disinformation campaign ahead of the 2016 presidential election, which they're still sticking with, helped to sow doubt about America's democratic institutions. So that they're still trying to say that was not that was a rigged elect. I can't even say those two words together.
The 2016 one they're trying to say was a fixed endeavor.
Yes.
Is what they're still trying to say. It's just funny how you even have to have these type of job openings. You know what I'm saying? We can't. It's like they talk about trusted science and data and all this stuff, but science is also refuting. You're trying to prove that it's wrong constantly. Whatever data that comes up, science is testing and proving that it's wrong to the point where it can't be wrong. So, what is wrong with us saying something opposite of the narrative? It shouldn't be anything wrong with that. This is like, you might as well just start burning books digital. This is digital book burning is what this is. You can't have any other point of view rather than the one they're giving you. And then they got these guys to try to enforce it.
Which is why they took my YouTube channel down. People will ask, and kind of normie people, really, why did they take it down? Because I was spreading misinformation, allegedly, and it was harmful. So, by the way, we are not advising anyone on what they should or should not do. Right, Shawn? We're just here to...
That's right. In fact, go get it.
If you really want to shorten your lifespan, do whatever. Yeah, go for it.
Go get your snake bite. Do it.
I wanted to see if there was anything else I wanted to say. As with the 6-foot killer, the most important task in psychological defense is to inoculate the population against believing false information. So they're basically saying that you can't even have it out there because people might believe it.
Exactly.
We can't have people believing something. So this involves teaching the public how to verify information. So they're going to tell us.
We're going to tell you what to think.
And they're going to teach you how to verify. Oh, well, if the government says it's wrong, then it is. A citizenry able to distinguish truth from falsehoods is vital, not just from a national security perspective. Now they're trying to do terrorist talk again, but for the protection of more everyday threats such as quack cures peddled on the internet. Other countries, too, should show they're serious about fighting the disinformation virus and immunizing against it. Oops, I said the word with the virus. Disinformation. Otherwise, it will undermine our societies and render even the most sophisticated military defenses useless. So if you need a job, if anyone's out of the job, don't worry. The Army is hiring psychological operations specialist. It says, as a Psyop specialist, you'll be an expert at persuasion. You'll assess and develop the information needed to influence and engage specific audiences. You'll broadcast important information through various mediums and assist U.S. and foreign governments, militaries, and civilian populations. That sounds like a great job.
You know what? I'm going to apply. I think it's, I would like to influence people and force people. Did I say force? I meant influence.
You're going to persuade.
Thoughts. And persuade. Yes, persuade. I like to persuade things.
You'll be an influencer, the highest degree, and you can get a $21,000 sign-up bonus.
Ooh. I'm in. What about you?
Well, I don't need a job quite yet, but I think that, why not, right?
We can influence and persuade.
I can't do that from YouTube anymore because, they keep taking us down, so.
You can't influence and persuade what you want. You have to influence and persuade what they want. I think that's what you're missing.
Well, what did you say about what police are trained to be?
Oh, just that. Pretty much they're trained to influence and persuade, enforce.
They will do what they're told. And
they will do exactly. Go ahead, I cut you off.
They'll do what they're told, and so will the military.
They will do what they're told. They're order followers. They will persuade and enforce and I said this way. They persuade and enforce and influence you to do what they want.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, that job opening is, all you have to do is type in Psyop Specialist Army, and you can,
Text that to me so I can fill out an app.
sure, just type in, just go to your favorite internet search engine and type in Psyop Specialist Army, and it comes directly up right away. So
Yes, that's PSYOP Specialist Army.
yep,
Okay.
that's all. That's
Let's
actually
get on it.
that's exactly what I typed in. I didn't even type out this whole word. I just typed in Psyop because we need them.
You know
Because
what,
like the last article said, we need them because it's imperative to get the disinformation to stop. We need the psyops to stop disinformation.
Right, we have to stop disinformation, not that information, just disinformation.
That was very funny.
Yes. Okay, I've tried.
Okay, why don't you tell us about the next two, because you had me pull these up. I don't know that we need to read them necessarily unless you think there's something in the article worth reading.
No, that right there says it. You just highlighted it. Pfizer. Well, you got people talking about Trump being the savior and being, the man, the swamp drainer, and then so here we have Biden taking money from Pfizer for his inauguration, and I think it took $1 million from them. There's other companies involved in this, as you'll see.
61.8 million for Biden. It says that right there.
But that's along with other companies. Other companies, inside the article it says that
1 million in contributions from about 10 companies, including Pfizer, the maker of the snake bites.
Right. So Pfizer gave him $1 million, and then same thing with Trump. So how can you can't pit one against the other? They're both, like I always say, I know you don't like the term, but two cheeks of the same butt. You got Trump over here getting $1 million from Pfizer for his inauguration, and then you got Biden over here getting $1 million from Pfizer for his inauguration. So Pfizer's hand is in both camps. They're in both, and I guarantee you it's more than just Pfizer. But I mean, if you guys, if the link is in the chat, if you drop it in there, if not, go to the Discord. We can put it in there, and you can read the articles. You can see what other companies donated money to these two cats, for their inauguration, and whose hands are they pockets in? You know what I'm saying? Like who are they getting their orders from? They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. So if Pfizer says we need another snake bite, we need 17 snake bites.
17, the number of Q.
That's right. Oh, did I just do that? Oh, well, that's what's going. That's true. That's what's going to happen. Is he's going to do whatever they say because his hand is in their pockets. He's getting money from them. Same thing with DT. My man DT, Donald Trump, getting money from them too. There's no difference between these two cats. Come on, y'all. Stop thinking that Trump is going to save the world and going to come back in 2024 and drain swamps. If the swamps are going to be drained, why ain't they drained yet? How come Hillary Clinton ain't in jail yet? How come how come all the stuff that he said, nothing happened? He in a lot of his speeches, he talked about he's going to do this and that to Hillary. And then when he gets elected, he brings them on stage and hugs and kisses them. This is all WWE in politics.
Yeah, and he also said, well, give her, we got to give her, I don't know, give her some props or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, she fought a good fight and she's a good, says something about her being a good person, stuff like that. And after he said she should be in jail, so.
She should be in jail. It's like Kamala when she was running for the president nomination, she was talking about Joe Biden's record of being racist and all kind of stuff like that. Then she accepts his vice presidency nomination. So come on, y'all. Y'all, I know we're preaching to the choir. I'm pretty much everybody that's in the chat.
Well, you'd be surprised. There's still tons of people on my Facebook who love Donald Trump, who stick up for him, who say he's not promoting the bad jab. He's promoting a different jab, that he got a different one. Well, where can I get the different one? I can't get the different one.
It don't matter if it's a different one or not. I don't care. What is a good jab? Is there a good jab?
No, there's you and I know there's not, but people will still have
I'm
an
just
excuse,
saying.
and they'd probably say about this one, well, they're just trying to make him look bad. Well, these are two articles on two different. They've got one on Biden, they've got one on Trump, so they're just trying to make Biden look bad too. Or did Pfizer give them plenty of money, which I'm sure they did?
Right. And my point is about, like you said, that people are saying, well, he got the good jab. Is there a good jab? That's what you ask some people that say that. There's a good jab? There's a jab that has vitamin C in it and nothing else? Vitamin C and good things for your body? Or does that jab have stuff in it that we shouldn't have in us too? What is a good jab? What is a good snake bite? A snake bite is a snake bite. You can get venom from any snake. It's still venom. It doesn't matter what snake you get it
Let's
from.
ask the CEO of Pfizer.
Ooh, what you got to say?
The Pfizer CEO now admits that 2-dose Jabo offers no protection against infection or severe disease, but having number 3 might reduce hospitalization. So I would play this, but I've already gotten in trouble for medical misinformation and had my YouTube of 4.5 years or whatever taken down. So I won't play it, but he does say exactly that. He outwardly says that the two first Jabos offer no protection against infection or severe disease, but the third one might. The third one might.
But still go get it. Go get your snake bites now.
He says, quote, we know the 2-dose Jabo offers very limited protection, if any. The 3 doses with a booster offers reasonable protection against hospitalization and death. Why? Why would
What
that
is
even
reasonable?
be reasonable? Why would that happen? If the first 2 didn't work and he admits that they didn't, why would 3 and a booster help? That means
Right.
4.
And what is reasonable? What does that mean? It might help you out a little bit. It's a reasonable chance that it might help. You know, the term reasonable can mean a lot of different things. It can mean it barely does anything. It doesn't have to mean it's. Come on.
He's admitting the first 2 don't do anything.
The first two, right? It's absolute madness.
But get 2 more. Get 2 more anyway.
My thing is this. When people lie, the lies always come to light. I said this a couple months ago, maybe last year, how the lies are starting to unravel. And when the lies start to unravel, you start to see the truth. These people that are lying have to amp it up. And that's exactly what they did. Because the lies are starting to unravel. People are starting to see what's truth and what isn't truth. And now that they see that, they have to start amping it up and start, okay, now we got to really crack down on these cats because they starting to see the truth. Somebody's going to leak or expose or say something because you can't keep a lie. Every lie is layered with another lie and another lie and another lie and another lie. And eventually the foundation of all those lies cracks and it breaks down and the truth comes out. And that's what's happening. These people can't continue to do this. We all know that. Who hasn't lied over and over again in their lives and seen that the lies don't hold up? They don't stand up to the truth. They end up breaking down. That's where we're at here. And that's why they're amping it up now. And that's why we're going faster and faster into the times we're in.
That's right. That's right. So if you are thinking about getting the jab, which interestingly, somebody called me yesterday asking a lot of questions about whether I would get it or not. And I said, well, if you want a shorter lifespan, go for it. But it's not working at all. I wanted to bring up this video that I'm not going to play, but this is really interesting because I think this really goes along with several other points we're going to show here, that there are people out there on all sides that are saying that this was made in a lab or whatever, and it's real, and they're even saying they know how it works in the body. This whole video on the World Council for Health, I got it from a Telegram group that I follow from a physician that I know. I just find it interesting some of the stuff they share, but they're saying that the original man-made in a lab thing exists. And not only that, they're saying they know how it works in the body. They're saying, here's what it does in the body. And I took a lot of screenshots of her discussion here because it was sure interesting that she was saying that this is what it does in the body, but it somehow comes in and creates this spike protein that everybody talks about. And she says but she calls it natural. A natural infection starts in the nose and lungs and never makes it into general circulation. Okay, this one's not natural. She's saying naturally that's what it would do. It never makes it into the general circulation of the immune system. But this snake bite injects these nanoparticles, these spike nanoparticles, bypassing that system so that it goes into the system that the natural infection wouldn't normally go into. And I don't know if she's saying a natural or the natural, or if she thinks it was made in a lab. It's kind of confusing. And then she goes on to say that after you get the snake bite, your immune cells will take up the nanoparticles, carry them to the lymph system, then to the spleen, where the immune system goes into effect, releasing large quantities. And then the spleen, immune cells unfortunately start releasing large quantities of the spike protein and displayed on the surface of what's called exosomes. And then the exosomes disperse throughout the body, but especially travel along the brain, to the brain along nerve fibers. Somehow they're traveling. She doesn't tell you how this happens, but somehow travels to the brain along nerve fibers to deliver toxic prion-like spike proteins to neurons. Now, prion proteins are what creates neurological brain deficit. So something like Jakob Creutzfeldt, which can kill you in just a few months. Mad cow disease is prion, possibly even just regular dementia. And this inflammatory response in the brain induces neurological damage. So then she goes on to say, the man made in a lab, yes, it's always cartoons, John, always cartoons. Same with space. Anyway, the man-made virulent thing that supposedly came out of a lab in China is supposedly a perfect storm for Parkinson's disease. Loss of smell is common as an early symptom of Parkinson's and the fake disease, the 6-foot killer. This fake 6-foot killer that she's saying exists can gain access to the brain as well, along your olfactory nerve, which is your smell nerve, and the vagus nerve, which is one of your the other 12. I think it has to do with heart rate regulation and breathing. Neuroinvasion, that's the brain invasion. Brain invasion, oh my gosh!
It's a movie title.
Yes.
Let's make it.
Brain invasion of this thing could upregulate a-synuclein, which is high levels of that can lead to misfolding and toxicity, basically Parkinson's, which dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra, which is part of the brain, express high levels of the ACE2 receptor. Anyway, so then she goes into exosomes and Parkinson's. So she's explaining how the supposed actual 6-foot killer that she believes exists does this already. And that this spike protein is very dangerous. It's got a high glycine zippers, which means it's going to go in and react worse. And it's going to stress your immune cells out in the digestive tract and the spleen, which is going to release these packaged exosomes with the spike protein, which is going to create this Parkinson's-like syndrome. Okay? That's what she's saying the actual made in a lab in China thing is doing. The reason I find it interesting is because I think that makes more sense about what the snake bite would be doing. Because she kind of goes on to say that is also what it's doing. If this was really going on out in the world, then why would the elites have group functions without masks if they were going to get this? Right, Shawn?
We've been saying that for so long. And somebody said to me on Facebook one time that it's a bioweapon, and they know it. They're sure of it. It's a bioweapon. And then I had a guest on my show say it was a bioweapon as well. And I asked him, if it's a bioweapon, how come they don't wear masks when they're around each other? You know, they're not afraid they're going to get the bioweapon? Like, what do they have? They have functions all the time. We'll get into one of those later on in the show, but they have these type of functions all the time where they get together, they party. We've seen Obama have a huge party with 500 people with no mask. This is even before the snake bite was out, and they were doing all this stuff and out there partying and getting, you know, having fun. And who knows what goes on at these parties that they're having? You know, I mean, we know that they get wild. So if for this to be a real 6-foot killer, they sure are taking it lightly. You know, how many times have we seen Nancy Pelosi walk around without a mask on? We've seen Governor Newsom, what's his name? The guy from California, Newsom, I think he is.
Yeah.
He's having dinner with 19 people in a restaurant that's supposed to be closed down to the public because of the 6-foot killer. But he's in there eating dinner when everybody's sitting around him with no mask on. Nobody has a mask on. Nobody's social distancing. Nobody's 6 foot away to keep the 6-foot killer away. How come they don't care? Do they have something that we don't have? Do they know something that we don't know? Yeah, they know something we don't know. They know that it's not real. They know it's all baloney.
Leads us into more people trying to say it's real. Here, we have
Randy.
Yep, we got Mr. Rand Paul, talking about gain of function and fraudchi, and apparently his lying under oath. And Project Veritas broke the project of leaked documents. And what do we know about leaked documents?
I know that if something's leaked, it's not leaked. It's put out there on purpose. They do that to it's a distraction. It's to say, look, see, we got these leaked documents proving that it's real. So that makes everybody believe that it's real.
And if you go to Shawn's channel, which is Ninja Scroll channel, you did a whole video on him, this man, Senator Paul, saying how good the jab is, and that he's gotten it, and that they worked very well in the beginning. He says that. Those are his words.
Yep. He says that, and then he talks about how when the Optimicron came out, he was talking about how they already had a snake bite for it.
Yeah.
We already have a snake bite for it.
He's already pushing a new one.
Right. Oh, it's just funny.
So this has continued to push. Now there's new leaked documents that people are sharing like wildfire. That DARPA did fund this gain of function, and Fauci's behind it, and all this stuff. And oh gosh, they admitted it. So now it really, 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 really is real. Really, really real.
This is all done just to make us believe that it's real.
Exactly. If you can get all sides to believe it's real, then everybody agrees in a way.
Yep.
They're coming together.
And that furthers their agenda of divide and conquer. If you can get everybody to believe it's real, then you can get everybody to say you should get the snake bite. And then those who don't get the snake bite can be looked at as enemies. And that's how you divide and conquer. And you create order out of chaos. You see, this is the Hegelian dialectic all over again. And I've been saying this for a long time about how they're creating a firestorm. They're creating something so that somebody can come in and fix it. They're looking at how we react. And all you see around the entire world are people protesting. Now you got people that are snake bitten and unsnake bitten protesting the same thing. And then you got people that are snake bitten and unsnake bitten protesting against each other. It doesn't matter. They just want to create a storm so that somebody can come in and fix it. It's just going to take one more thing to push this storm over the top where it's going to be too much and somebody's going to have to come in and fix it. And we all know who that person is.
I guess let me be clear, because Jeffrey Paget says something that about it's real. Okay. But maybe it's 5G stuff or Alexa or Google. Okay, there's probably things that those things are doing. We already know. It doesn't take much to learn about frequencies and how they can affect you. So there very well could be something with 5G somewhere, but it doesn't travel very far. So you can get away from it pretty quickly. And I guarantee you it's not all in the country yet, even though that's what they're trying to do. So maybe something is real as far as creating those kind of symptoms but they would be temporary, because once you got away from the 5G device, those symptoms would go away. So,
or perhaps it's a snake bite that's doing it.
Well, for sure that is. For sure. That's why I
Right.
tried to make it clear when I was reading those things that what's happening is what she's saying, that some man-made in China 6-foot killer is doing is probably what the jabbo, the snake bite, is actually doing.
Right.
Not
Right.
not a man-made, thing. And that's what people try to say is, I know it's real because I had it and it felt man-made. Well, you wouldn't have said that 5 years ago, that it felt man-made.
Nope. Nope. If you'd have had these symptoms 2 years ago, or let's say 3-4 years ago, if any of you would have had these symptoms that you have right now, you would have just thought it was a cold. We all know that. Start thinking. We all know that's what we would have thought it was. Because this stuff wouldn't have been implanted into our minds to think of something different.
That's right. It's been pushed in your brain to tell you that it's real and that it exists. And yeah, so we have a person on DLive that says it's everything and nothing new at the same time. Very real in that way. But that's about it. Yeah, it's nothing new. So I'm not saying that they aren't putting something in the snake bite that's not doing that. For sure, that's what I believe. But what you even wrote a song about this, that you think, this is made up every year with the SARS and the MERS and the other stuff. It's just, there's always something that they're coming out with to scare us.
It's always a boogeyman. There's been boogeyman, whether it be some type of 6-foot killer or global warming or climate change, which is the same. But they changed the name of it too because they want to have to keep the boogeyman fresh. So it'd be climate change one year, then it's global warming the next year. You got terrorists, boogeymen. You got boogeyman all over. Look up. There's a book that I read. Shoot, I just forgot what it's called. The Blue Mountain Report. In the Blue Mountain Report, it talks about how they're going to be using, and this Blue Mountain Report is supposed to be a real thing. I have yet to verify that it's a real thing that was given to Congress and that they're using these tactics. But when you read it, you'll see that everything that's in the Blue Mountain Report is exactly what they're doing. It talks about there always being a boogeyman, keeping you in constant fear because they control you with fear. Not only do they do it, but marketers do it too. You get marketing people that will say, hurry up and get this item. It's the last one. You better hurry up. It gets you excited. It gets you anxious. It puts fear in you. I better hurry up and get that because no, it's the last one. It's all a part of control. Fear controls us, and they know it, and that is all part of it. When it comes to the 6-foot killer, it's nothing. I still haven't seen anything different in my neighborhood. We've been going through this for almost 2.5 years now. I don't see what they say still. I work out in the public. I see people all the time, the same people, different people. Everybody touching stuff. I work in the supermarket. I'm always touching products. I don't, every time I touch a bottle of juice, go run and wash my hands and then rub my eye. It's people touching stuff all over the place and sneezing and coughing. I don't even see the sneezing and coughing like that. Not until now you do. And I said this before. I said, in the summertime, right before Optimicron came out, I said to people, and you might be able to verify that on my channel, that when the wintertime comes, there's going to be a new variant because people are going to start getting colds. And they're going to say that the cold is the new variant. The same way the flu disappeared last year. How did that happen? Oh yeah. So we had a cashier at work.
Sorry, hold on. I muted myself. Somebody was sick around your daughter with a cold, is what I said. You had a story about that.
We had a cashier at work, and she's an older lady. She's in her 60s, and she got sick, didn't go get tested or anything, just called out from work and just stayed home, and came back. And then somebody else in our in the store supposedly got the 6-foot killer because they got tested. So they said, oh, you got the 6-foot killer, you got to stay home. So this other woman had to stay home. So the woman that was sick in the first place, that didn't get tested, came back and she said, wow, so I heard that so-and-so got the 6-foot killer. And my daughter was like, yeah, my daughter doesn't believe it either. She knows it's not real. She goes, yeah. And the lady goes, whoa, I hope I didn't have it.
Which is she just went home, got better, came back to work, but then she started worrying about whether she had it because someone else decided to get the test, and it said positive. And by the way, they're saying that 95% of people who are ill is with this new omniptibacuranemon. And how do they know that? Because there is nothing that actually tests for that.
Right. I mean, they come out, they say a name of something, Flurona, Optimicron, IHU. They say these names. This is all scaring people. Don't y'all see this? It's all to make you fear, keep you in fear, make you scared. So then you go run and get the test. You'll go run and do this. You'll run and put the mask on. You're running. They got everybody shook. Y'all shook ones out there. And that's what's happening. So when they come up with these different terms and stuff like that, how do they know it's that? How do they test for that? The thing that somebody will go to the doctor and they'll say, he got this. And then how do they know that? What did they do?
You know, Al Dion, or maybe it's Al Dion or Al Dion, sorry if I don't say it right, says rolling dice is just as effective as a test. Yeah, why don't we get a magic 8-ball too? And what have I been saying? I said, you know how they're making people do the home test you said for your son? I said, why don't they just dip it in the swab in the toilet and see what happens?
That's something else. They got businesses making people take the 6-foot killer test. All right, or you can't work. That's the new thing. Y'all know the mandates going out here. So like we were talking about that. Erin and I were talking about this, and we're saying to ourselves, there's nobody administering, looking over the person, see if they do it right or nothing. When we get drug tested for a job, we have to go in and take a P test. There's somebody standing right at the door, making sure that you're not doing nothing crazy, so that the P test will come out accurate. Who's standing at the door in your house, making sure that you're not doing something crazy so that your 6-foot killer test comes out accurate?
And what else did I say? I said you could do as many as you needed till it said negative. Take a picture of that, and then say, "Oh, it's negative again this week, negative again," and never even do it. So it's like,
and just do it once until you get it right. So what? Don't y'all understand? I try not to stay on this subject too much. I really do. Even on my own channel, I try to get off of the 6-foot killer is not real thing, because it becomes exhausting. Understand that God is not the author of confusion. I've had people say that this was God's wrath. God unleashed a 6-foot killer on people. This is wrath. This is a weak wrath. God's wrath is not like this.
Super weak.
Right. This is not God's wrath. What this is, since God is not the author of confusion, who is the author of confusion? Satan.
Janus too.
There you go. Yes.
Janus is the god of chaos and deception.
That's Satan. If you ask me, I mean, if you really want to go into the Janus, then we both know.
Of course it is. Or demonic entity or fallen angel, whatever you want to say.
It's from right, exactly. So when you look at Satan being the father of lies, Satan being the author of confusion, what do we see in this world right now? Nothing but confusion. Wear one mask. No, you only need 2. You don't need 1. Everybody's confused.
Now you need an N95. Otherwise, it's just decoration.
So for 2 years, we've been walking around with socks on our face.
Not you and me, of course.
You know what I'm saying? People been walking around with head bandanas. Oh, just put a bandana on. That'll be fine. Put a sock on your face.
Scarves.
Scarves. I seen people put boxers over their face and make a mask out of boxers.
Underwear. Yeah.
Yes.
Women's underwear, bras.
Come on, y'all. So that's all fine. But and we trust the science. That's fine. That's what science says. We can do that. Oh, but science changes according to Dr. Crouchy.
Well, now you would be foolish to wear the cloth. You got to do. We didn't bring up all. We talk about stuff that we didn't pull up. By the way, I don't have the video from this Asian doctor lady saying this, but she's very often on CNN
That's
she's,
Leah.
She's an emergency room doctor.
What's her name? Leah. Lay. I can't remember. It's Leah or something like that. I can't. That's the one that's talking about dangling the carrot.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Got to dangle
Leah
a carrot out in
something.
front of people to get them to want to do what they're supposed to do, according to her and the rest of CNN. But yes, anyway, she says that no longer, or if ever, she says the cloth mask is worthless. The CDC is admitting that people had comorbidities. Fraudchi is admitting that they're being diagnosed as a hospitalized COVID patient, even if that's not what they're there for. They're coming out and saying it. So even Jake Tapper came on and said, well, this is a little deceiving, isn't it? That all this high percentage of people didn't actually have this, that it wasn't, that they were added to this number, and that really was, I mean, isn't that interesting? Like you said, it's like the foundation's cracking and falling apart.
It's falling because that's what lies do, y'all. That's what lies do. They just fall apart. They can't hold, a lie can't stand up to the truth. They're going to fall apart. If this was true, nothing would be different. If it was all truth, it would not change. The truth does not change. That's why God does not change. He's unchanging because he is the truth. And what we see here is a bunch of people standing up telling us a whole bunch of lies from their father, the devil, who is the father of lies, who has deceived the whole world. He has the whole world blind. Everything that I just said is in your Bible. Everything that I just said is in your Bibles. He's a deceiver. He's the father of lies, and he has the whole world blind. He deceived the whole world. He's the father of lies, and he has the whole world blind. What are we blind to? What are we not seeing here? How can we not see the truth? Those of us that have discernment can see the truth. And I need everybody to start understanding what the truth is, because if everybody knew the truth, this could not happen. If everybody stood up for righteousness, this would not happen. Everything that they're doing right now would not happen. They are banking on you being ignorant. They're banking on you not knowing the truth. And they're banking on you believing on everything, every word that they say, hanging on every word that comes out of their mouth. They're banking on that, and they're winning. And they're going to continue winning. And it's all leading up to the Antichrist coming on the scene. And people will be worshiping the Antichrist before the mark is even thought about. Because you're already worshiping these cats.
Yep, and Aldeon, I'm just going to say Aldeon, reminds us of what we've tried to say before. That was one of the reasons my YouTube was taken down, is it's the medicine that's putting people on ventilators.
That's right. That's right. Amen, bro. That's right. We've been saying this stuff. It's not, and like Dr. Krause said, Krause was like, all the kids that go into the hospital, they're not going in there for a 6-foot killer. They might go in there for a broken leg or broken arm. But
they're automatically being tested.
They're automatically tested for the 6-foot killer. So they're qualified as being in there for a 6-foot killer when they're not. They're not in there for the 6-foot killer. They didn't go in there with the 6-foot killer. But don't you think the hospitals get paid for the people that get the 6-foot killer?
Yeah, they get paid. They get paid for positive testing.
Just for positive testing. What do y'all think this is all about? What does the Bible say? The love of money is the root of all evil. I think people get that twisted up all the time. They say, money is the root of all evil. I've had people say to me, how can money be the root of all evil when we need it? I say, you ain't read the Bible correctly. The Bible don't say money is the root of all evil. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. And if you think about that and you take that in context, like the Bible says, you think deeply about what that says. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not some, not a little bit, not this much, all evil. Everything evil comes from the love of money. So what do we got here? We got people, who's getting rich nowadays? Who's making the money? Y'all making money? Y'all getting rich off of this? Somebody is. Don't y'all think that these pharmaceutical companies are getting rich off of this? Companies are in the business of making money. I have a company. Babe, you got a company. We make money in our companies. That's my sole purpose of owning my driving company. That's my sole purpose of owning my cleaning company, is to make money. You have 7K medals. I have not 7K medals. World Crypto Life. We both have that in order to make money. That's our companies. Drug companies don't do stuff for free. They keep telling y'all, oh, it's free. Go get it. It's free. We give you free testing. We give you free stuff. Ain't nothing free, y'all. Ain't nothing free. Come on, y'all know better than that. These people out here trying to make money because they love money. And they don't care how they get it. They don't care if you die. They don't care if I die. They don't care who it affects. They don't care how many lies they have to tell, as long as they're getting their money.
All right. Well, you know what? Don't worry, though. If you love your, if you recall, Senator Cruz said that this was a terrorist attack on January 6th. Do you remember that, Shawn?
Yeah, yes, I do. And he looked funny. I remember watching Tucker Carlson come at him about it, and I remember looking at his face. I mean, it was just hilarious. I like to read people's body language a lot, and I'm looking at his face, and I'm just like, even Tucker Carlson, I was reading his body language too. I think Tucker was really serious about it. I think he was.
He kind of looked like it because he's like, I don't believe you. He's like, so if anyone doesn't remember, I think we covered it. Maybe we didn't, but Ted Cruz said this was a terrorist attack, just like the left has been saying. So he goes along with that narrative, and then goes on Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson says, "What are you talking about? Why did you say this?" And it was the most interesting dialogue, because I'm like, what is the game that they're playing here? That he actually looks like he's really irritated with Ted Cruz and doesn't believe a word he's saying, and Ted Cruz is like, well, I didn't mean that. He just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was almost like a psychological operation. Whoa.
Now hiring.
Yes. It was almost like that. Like they're trying to make us believe that Tucker is on our side, type of thing. But I think Tucker's bought and paid for it just like Alex Jones and everybody else who was in the media with getting paid like that to do it. I think they're all bought and paid for it to some extent. But when you look at Ted Cruz and what he was saying, are you going to play this?
Going to play this? Oh, I wasn't going to. I can. Do you want? Is there a part where you specifically?
No. I just thought you were going to play it so we can.
No, this is a Mark Dice video. So I mean, I just brought it up because Mark Dice covered it, but it doesn't show. It does show a little bit of him asking the question. I can show that. Let me show that.
It's up to you. Go ahead.
About Ray Epps.
Ms. Sadburn, who is Ray Epps?
I'm aware of the individual, sir. I don't have the specific background to him.
Well, there are a lot of people who are understandably very concerned about Mr. Epps. On the night of January 5th, 2021, Epps wandered around the crowd that had gathered, and there's video out there of him chanting, "Tomorrow, we need to get into the Capitol, into the Capitol." This was strange behavior, so strange that the crowd began chanting, "Fed, Fed, 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 Fed." Ms. Sandburn, was Ray Epps a Fed?
Sir, I cannot answer that question.
After the hearing, Ray Epps' name was trending on Twitter.
It'd be great. It would be great.
Editorialized.
If we go to, let's say I worked at a job that required me to have the snake bite, and they say, "Did you get the snake bite?" Why can I say, "Sir, I can't answer that question"?
That's right. How come we can't say that, but they can all day long?
They do that all day long. I can't answer that question. They under oath. They under all kinds of scrutiny. You know what I mean? They get jail time for all this, or they can just deflect any question that comes to them by saying, "I can't answer that question." And then they just go, "Okay, you don't have to answer that one. Let's go to another question. What about this?" "I can't answer that question." "Okay, what about this one?" "I can't answer. That's why they got to keep saying.
That's right. They're just going to keep so. It's kind of funny because he says he grills her, but she just continues to not answer any of the questions. And Mark Dice himself goes on to talk about this Ray Epps guy, which I'll admit I hadn't even heard of before this. Sorry, I didn't know about some of these things since I was 5 years old, but I didn't actually hadn't heard of that particular fella. But that's very interesting, and people were onto it. So, of course they were involved, and they're just admitting it again. I don't know if the foundation's cracking or they want to incite people to go, yes, we knew it, and create more division. I don't know what's going on, but
it's a lot of both of that. It's a lot of COINTELPRO, you know, that we see going on. Now, think about in this instance here. Think about the first 9/11, well, the first September, the first World Trade Center attack. I think it was in 1993. When the guy had a van and tried to blow up the bottom of the World Trade Center. You remember that?
Mark Dice brings that same thing up in this exact video, in fact. Yeah. And how they admitted that they gave them the bomb or something. The feds actually gave them the bomb to do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They talked this guy into doing it. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, he talks about that.
I didn't know that, but still, that's so they talked him into. So why wouldn't this be any different?
It's not.
You know?
It's not.
It's not. It's not. But I still think that everything that they tell us, every lie that they tell us, will be revealed. The Bible clearly states that what's done in the dark will come to light. And these things that they're doing in the dark are coming to light, whether it be on accident or on purpose. These things are coming to light. Every lie that they put out here will be seen. We will all know it. Some of us might see it, might be able to see it now because we're looking through spiritual eyes. We're looking through eyes with discernment. The minute this thing started popping off back in 2019, I think it was, or 20, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. 2019.
I already knew. My daughter was in school at the time. I was telling you, I guess because they had started this whole online homeschooling thing, whatever. And then they started talking about, you know, this is going to be what's happening with the 6-foot killer. I said, you ain't going back to school. I said, because they're going to try to get everybody to get this snake bite. That's their plan. And I was right. I'm not trying to say that I'm right. That's not my point here. My point here is some of us can see. And I've called this in a song called The Great Deceiver. I talked about snake bites for everybody, how they're going to get everybody ready for snake bites. From the H1N1 flu shot to this flu shot to that flu shot, they're just preparing everybody to take snake bites.
Well, and I did a video about it too, and it was before this. I think it was 2018 or early 2019. That's called Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and I said the same thing. What's going to make people run for a Jabbo? What's going to make people want it? Well, 1, superpowers. 2, it's going to cleanse you of any illness. A deadly, fatal illness or otherwise, autoimmune stuff, everything. It's going to cure anything that ails you. It's going to give you superpowers. It's going to enlighten your brain. And this is why, if you guys haven't watched my Black Goo series, which you can't on YouTube anymore. Black Goo. I got to make a playlist, and it's really hard. Odyssey is kind of frustrating me right now because it's hard for me to make a playlist on Odyssey. So I will be uploading them slowly, again, to this YouTube, but I made a whole series, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers was one of them. The AI that fell from the sky was the first one. Then it was, I think Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and then I did several others. One called Saturn Rising, and then one called the Black Gold Ascension, and then ultimately the Final Union, because that's what this is going to ultimately become, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I want people to know that you and I both prayed for truth, discernment, and wisdom. That's right. From the Most High alone, the one true God, Yahuwah. And want to get the Jabbo. Now this is where they're going. This Los Angeles Times says, this column, mocking anti-snake biters and them dying from supposedly this is ghoulish, but may be necessary. Now, I don't have the whole article pulled up because I don't want to read it. I don't even think there's anything more we need to know. But it's pressure to do it because you're going to have to buy and sell. It's pressure to do it because of this. But I believe we will get to a time, Shawn, where people will really want it. It won't even be this kind of pressure anymore.
That pressure is not for those. There's people that want it right now. The pressure is not for those. The pressure is for us.
Right.
The pressure is for those of us that don't want it. And that's how it's going to be in the tribulation times. There's going to be like I said before, if you read Revelation 13, the people are already going to be worshiping the beast. When it comes time to get his mark, they're going to embrace it. That's their team. I love that team. Yeah, I'll wear his jersey. That's where we're going. So they're going to love it. They're going to want to take his mark. But then there's going to be those of us that don't want to worship him. That's where this comes in, the shaming. That's where the people that believe in him, that think he is the real Messiah, are going to look at us and say, "What's wrong with you guys? You guys are nuts. How come you don't, he fixed everything. How come you don't want to worship him? He's the one." We're going to be looked at as crazy. Those of us that know who he is, who he truly is, and won't worship him, are going to be looked at like we're nuts. And we will be ridiculed, and we will be pressured into doing it. You know, they're going to try to pressure us into doing things that we know we shouldn't do. And this is all part of it. They're going to mock people that die. This is nuts. How many more people are dying from the snake bite than not? You know, what would it look like if we were to mock them? Oh, you got the snake bite, that's why you're dead. Ah, ha, ha, ha. How would that look?
And that's something we talked about, is we're telling people that we don't want to say "I told you so." It's going to be a sad time. Just like when I saw a post from a gal who said her son ended up with myocarditis, and I said, that's really, that's sad. We don't want people to get to that point before they wake up. And she woke up to it because of that. She was excited to get him his snake bite and very much for it. And then that happened, and she said, man, life has a really hard way of humbling you, because she was saying how she got taken down off Twitter for talking about it and all this stuff. And I'm saying that's not what we want to see. You and I don't want to see that. We don't want people to be hurting, and especially their children. It makes me sad. I could cry about it. I'm not going to, but I could start easily crying about people jabbing their kids over this and what they're going to, how they're going to learn the hard way. And we don't want that. We wish they would just hear us out, but they're not. And they're either not going to learn, or they're just going to blame something else, or they're going to learn the hard way. But this is what they want to do to us. They say it's okay to mock us. They want to do that.
Right.
They're saying do it.
Right. They're saying to do it. And people, well, we don't want to see kids dying from snake bites or getting hurt from snake bites, or people in general dying or getting hurt from snake bites. We don't want to see people teaching their kids to wear masks and walk around with masks everywhere they go. You know, not being able to breathe fresh air. We don't want to see people teaching their kids just to obey without even thinking about it. What these people are saying, just blindly obeying. We don't want to see that. That's something. If that was our purpose, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be talking about the things we talk about. We would basically just be like, go ahead, do what you want to do. We don't care. But we do care. It's people like us and you guys out there that do care about others. That's why you guys are here. That's why we're here. Because we care about people, and we're not out here trying to shame people. We're not out here trying to mock people, make fun of people that take things. We don't want you to take it. No snake bite.
And please don't give it to your children.
Definitely. Don't do it for yourself or for your children or any family members. I don't care how old they are. Don't do the snake bite. It's not good for you. That's not just this snake bite, but any snake bite. I don't believe in any of the snake bites that ever came out with, and I haven't gotten one since I was a kid. I haven't gotten any flu snake bites. I don't get that stuff. And I'm not just saying I'm special because I know y'all know better than that. It's poison going into you. You don't need that in your body. God gave you an immune system for a reason. God put things in your body to heal you. And that's what you need. You don't need man. Don't put your trust in man. Put your trust in the Lord. Put your trust in God, that he will provide, that he will take care of you. Not Dr. Crouchy, because Dr. Crouchy don't give two craps about you.
Okay, well, let's go to and I will get back to what I said about talking about the third strand DNA and the black gold that I talked about in all my videos. But first, you had pulled up this article. French President Emmanuel Macron says someone who refuses the snake bite is not a citizen.
What does that tell y'all? They're saying right now, this is all part of, you got too many dictators. You got a dictator here. You got dictators all throughout these blue states. You got dictators in France. You got dictators in Canada. You got dictators in Australia. Okay, you got all these dictators saying you're going to put their fists down. You're going to do what we tell you, type thing. That's the problem. What's the reaction? The reaction is people fighting back and saying, we don't want to follow you. We don't want to follow these mandates. We don't want to do this. What's the solution? Somebody coming in and taking care of all the dictators.
Mm-hmm. He says he hoped to hassle those who are irresponsible enough to refuse these and wanted to hassle them into getting it. A bill that would effectively strip the unsnake-bitten of the right to participate in most aspects of public life is currently being debated in Parliament there. They're already doing that in cities here. And by the way, if you don't think it's coming to a red state near you, it is. I believe they will cave eventually.
Okay. Oh, definitely. We've seen in some of like in Florida, we've seen in some of the legislation that they have. They talk about you're not going to force nobody to take no snake bites here, but then there's a bottom line. It's always a little writing down the bottom. But if it does, just in case if so many outbreaks happen, then we will do it. That type of stuff is happening. There's always fine print. There's always. DeSantis. Yep.
Gosh, I muted myself. Sorry. What I was saying is in DeSantis's sorry, I'll just say it one more time. In DeSantis's ban on the snake bite, he included that. However, I can shut down everything if the numbers get high enough. That was included in the ban. Why? So what? So. By the way, that takes away your rights anytime there's a ban. I understand that sounds really good, and everybody thinks DeSantis is the man, and I love my state of Florida. Well, unfortunately, if you read all of that, what he's actually saying in it is, one, I'm taking away the freedoms of a business to choose if they want people to have this, because that is actually taking away freedom to say, well, if you own a business, you can't tell your employees that your business that you own is required to have a jabbo. You can't do that. That's actually taking away the rights of the person that owns a business. Okay? But also included in that ban was the little writing, the small writing that you mentioned, that should the numbers get bad, though, he has the right to start locking everybody down again.
Yep. So if either you're for it or you're against it. Either you're for God or you're against God. Either you're for mandates or you're against them. There's no straddling the fence. And that's what he's doing. He's saying, oh, we're going to be the free state and everybody can come here and do what they want. But if these things go up, I got to cover them. It's called CYA, cover your butt. I ain't say the A word. Y'all know what that is. Cover your butt. If these cases start to rise, I can still shut you down. And that's what he's proposing. That's what he's doing.
Montana did do a ban on the jab as well. So it wasn't just Florida. Montana did the same thing, but I haven't read through it to see if it talks about being able to close things down like DeSantis's, because I feel the same way. If you're creating a ban and you're still, while it looks good on the surface, you're still taking away rights. So anyway, sorry about that I muted myself, guys. And then you had this one for IKEA, cuts sick pay for the snake-bitten staff and forced to isolate.
Yeah, I brought this up because I stumbled across this when I was doing some research, and I was just talking to my son. And the reason I was researching it because I was talking to my son. He works at Home Depot, and I was asking him, they're making them take weekly tests, weekly 6-foot killer test, as per the mandates of JoJo. So I'm asking him, okay, I said, son, at one of these weekly tests, you're going to come up positive. It's not down my mind. You're going to come up. It's not. I don't think it's possible for him not to.
If he actually takes them and
does it.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, you're going to come up. I said, so are they going to pay for your time off? You know, are they going to give you sick time and pay? I know you accumulate sick time at Home Depot. I used to work there. So I know you accumulate certain amounts of 4 hours a month or whatever it is. I can't remember exactly how it is, but you accumulate sick time. But are they going to make you use your own sick time, or are they going to give you time off and pay you? So he asked his manager, and he came back and told me they're going to give them 2 weeks off pay. I didn't ask him if that was going to come out of his sick time, or if they're going to just bite the bullet and take it themselves and just pay you to stay home. You know, I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. But as you can see here, IKEA is not doing that. IKEA is not going to pay you if you're unsnake bitten. And you own the snake bitten, yeah, we'll pay you because you did what we told you. But the unsnake bitten, like dude in France was talking about, you're not a citizen. You know, you're unsnake bitten. You didn't listen to us. You didn't do it. So you're a bad kid. So we're not going to pay you for if you test positive for the 6-foot killer and you have to stay home. We're not going to pay you.
It says in the article, it comes as firms struggle with mass staff absences and rising costs. So they basically can't afford to do it because the prices are going up for everything that they've got to buy to sell, and massive absences because people are having to take 2 weeks off or 10 days or 5 days or whatever it is these days. But they're being forced to take this time off, and therefore they don't have any employees. In fact, I was told that the schools here are going to shut down again. But I was also told that's because they don't have anybody to work because they're making them do the quarantine requirements.
Well, I've heard in New York that they had the nurses and doctors who did not take the snake bite. They were laid off, and then they said you can come back and get tested. The same mandate thing. Come back and get tested. But if they tested positive and they were home and they needed them to come in, or you can come back in. They're saying they can come in now. As long as you don't have any symptoms, even if you test positive for a 6-foot killer, if you don't have any symptoms, you can come in and work. Do you see how this is?
Yep.
This is?
It's changing because, like I think I even said in this article, they said the policy had to evolve with changing circumstances.
The same thing the lady in CDC on my channel, I broke her down too. She was saying, well, it was going to be 10 days if you got Optimicron, tested positive for Optimicron. It was going to be 10 days, but we had to shorten it because we don't know how much y'all can take.
Because people aren't tolerating the 10 days. Yeah.
We don't know if y'all going to tolerate 10 days or not. Y'all might not tolerate the 10 days, so we shortened it to 5. That's exactly what she said. And then on top of that, businesses are going to be hurting. My son was telling me that they don't have any employees at Home Depot. He's telling me that he had to work 12 hours the other day because nobody was coming in.
That's why I'm surprised that they're paying his sick leave still, because like IKEA admitted they can't afford to.
I don't know. Like I said, maybe they're not. Maybe it's got to come out of his accrued sick leave.
Right. He doesn't know yet, I guess.
I didn't ask him that. Maybe he does know, and I didn't ask him.
Oh, okay.
So that's something I'll have to talk to him about later today. But that's a possibility that that it's going to come out of his sick leave that he accrued already.
Okay, well, tell us about this fine young man across the water that is was supposed to be like DJT, Donald J. Trump, over in the UK.
I think this is his like second or third party he had. One of them, I heard reports of them doing cocaine and all kind of stuff off of the chest of women.
Sounds like a fun guy.
It's absolutely nuts. The stuff that they do. They tell us we can't have, you guys, I don't celebrate Christmas, and neither does Erin, but some of you guys do. And some of you guys were told you can't go over and visit your family on Christmas, or you can't go and visit your family on Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, these cats over here snorting coke off of women's breasts. They over here partying, getting drunk, having parties with 500-600 people at them at the party. The luxury hotels, luxury yachts.
I thought this was a real thing. If it's real, then how come they're having these parties and they're not afraid?
Why ain't they afraid? What is this telling y'all?
They're not wearing masks and keeping 6 foot distance.
They're not doing nothing they tell us to do. What does this tell y'all? Now people are gonna say, well, maybe they got snake bites, but the snake bite people are getting sick. So the snake bitten people are getting sick. So that's not, you can't even go by that. The deal is they know something that we don't know. They know that it's not real. They know it's nothing out there. That's why they go out. How many times have y'all seen this? I said this earlier. How many times y'all seen the Nancy Pelosi's, the Governor the Newsom dude over there in California? You seen Barack Obama drive around his golf cart when he had his birthday party 2 years ago. When this first came out, before snake bites was even out, he was out there doing this, having big party. They told, oh, you can't. Everybody got to be in the house by 10 o'clock. First, what is that? What happens after 10 o'clock? I don't understand. Can y'all understand? Why isn't any of this questioned by anybody? Why we can get up and go to work and do everything we want to do, as long as we have on a sock on your face, we can do all that. But 10 o'clock, oh no, you can't go out after 10. It's curfew. There's 6 foot killers out there. I was walking my dog after 10 o'clock, and I remember coming in and getting on Facebook at like 10:30. I said, I just seen the 6 foot killer chase me down my driveway because it was after 10 o'clock. Come on. I need people to start thinking. We need people to start to open your eyes up and wake up. We're not here to try to say we're right. We're not here to try to be right. We're here to help other people understand what is going on and why it's going on. Once you can understand these things, then we can take steps to remedy. But it's not going to happen. As many people as we wake up, there's 5 others against us. Every time. We can wake up 10 people, but there's 50 more that are still fast asleep. And 50 more on top of that. And 50 more on top of that. The majority of them way surpasses our little minority. So that's why we have nothing to do but prepare for what's coming, because it's coming, period.
Okay, tell us about this one. Vaccine. Oh, shoot. I said the word. Oh, no. Vaccine.
Snake bite.
Mandate for truckers could lead to mass layoffs and supply chains. Well, that seems clear because a lot of them aren't going to want it. But this was your article, so tell us about it.
Well, I already see that. Me working at a grocery store, I've had at least 4 or 5 times where the truck driver didn't show up to work. So I would go into work to get the truck, to unload the truck and put out my freight, and we didn't get no truck. Babe, you've heard me say that, when I've called you and said, I guess I'm going home early because there's no truck today. The truck driver calls out because of 6 foot killer. But that was then. Now with these mandates coming out, you're going to get a lot of truck drivers, y'all. Watch. It's going to be a lot of truck drivers that aren't going to take the mandates because they're told that they can't drive within the United States up to Canada.
Yep.
They can't.
At the border, they're going to be required if they want to go through. Even heading into the U.S.
Even heading into the U.S. We get a lot of products from all over the place. A lot of truck drivers aren't going to be delivering. And then on top of it, I've been told that they can't find truck drivers to work right now because a lot of them are afraid of the 6 foot killer. Number one. And a lot of them don't want to get no snake bites. So if you get the ones that are out there now and they go through these mandates and decide they don't want to do it, what's going to happen to your store shelves? I already see it. In the warehouse that we have in Pennsylvania called Unify, where I can't get certain products. I'll order certain types of Gatorade, I can't get them in. I'll order certain types of high C, I can't get it in. I'll order certain types of whatever, I can't get certain things in. And it was at a point where they were telling us we could only order 1 package per item because they didn't have enough order pickers to pick for our stores. So if I wanted to get a box of Yoo-hoo with 32 in it, I can only order 1. I used to order 7, 8. I could only order 1 on that time or whatever. We order on Wednesdays and Monday and Wednesdays when I do my orders. So on Monday I could order 1, and Wednesday I could order another one. Go ahead.
This is funny because it says they deliver food, fuel, and the snake bites.
And the snake bites. But JoJo said he got snake bite drops. They just came out on.
Okay, well, aren't they going to have to deliver that too, though?
Yeah, they delivered them already on New Year's Eve, and they're already saving lives.
Of course they are.
On Christmas Eve, he said that was the funniest thing I ever heard. I did a show on this on January, was it 3rd or 4th or something like that? I think it was January 4th. And he was talking about how they had snake bite drops, these pills. Snake bite drops, I call them, where they had them, they bought a whole bunch of them. Pfizer, who made them? Pfizer made them. They got snake drops.
Yeah, by the way, this is sponsored. This video is brought to you by Pfizer.
Yes, along with what you're talking about, Willis episodes.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
So Pfizer made the snake bite drops, and supposedly we ordered a whole gang of them and got them on Christmas Eve and sent them out on Christmas Eve. And by January 4th, they were already saving lives. Thank you, JoJo. That's what he said. How is that possible? And that they're already saving lives. But but I'm bringing it up because he was talking about these things were delivered. They weren't delivered on Christmas Day. They weren't delivered on Sunday, which is the day after Christmas Day. So Monday was the first, Tuesday, second, Wednesday, third. So we had like 4 days to get these things to people. And within those 4 days, it got to people, and they knew they were saving lives. Do y'all see the rhetoric that they're talking? You see how crazy these people talk and how people sit here and believe it? Do you see what's happening here with these truck drivers that are not going to want to take these snake bites, and they're not going to want to deal with the mandates, and what this is going to lead to? It's going to lead to inflation. It's going to lead to no stuff being in the stores, and stores have already preparing for this. We got Walmarts and these big chain stores are hiring their own truck drivers to bring their products in. They're not using these other guys out here. They're getting their own people that want the mandates and want all that stuff, and they're bringing their supplies to them. But that's not going to last long. It's not going to be enough.
Oh, yeah, you're done. Okay. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're done. Okay. Well, this is... I can't go much longer because I've got somewhere to be at 12:15, but this is a video I watched that says what the black stuff supposedly that's in the snake bite is doing to them. But them, I thought it was going to be like the self-proclaimed elites, but it's not. It's to those who get the snake bite. Very interesting because it talks about the kind of antenna thing that I talked about in the AI that fell from the sky. My very first video, when I still believed that we were a globe hurtling through space. My very first video on what I thought that they were what I thought they were trying to do with these, with the AI that I believe nanotechnology that was in chemtrails. So, very interesting 10-minute video. If you guys are wondering where all these articles are, they're in my Discord server. So let me share that link, because if you're not, I don't have a webpage where I share all the articles that we discussed, but I keep everything. This is where my research is held, is the Discord server. So if you're like, hey, I want that article, can you drop it for me? I have everything in there. Somebody else put this video in the Discord for me to watch. And I'd say, I take it with a grain of salt. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as people love to say. There's some very good information here about what will happen. I don't think that this GO is doing this yet. I really don't. Because what have I said, Shawn? It's going to be a third strand DNA. And the conductivity on that is going to be so high that you are going to be able to be controlled via airwaves and frequencies. Let me put this link in the Facebook too. I forget I'm live on other things. Let me just do this real quick. I'm used to just sharing. I don't think anyone's watching on Twitch, but oh, there is one person. Anyway, I've said it's going to be a third strand DNA, and that particular knowledge doesn't just come from me, but from Anthony Patch and Nicholson 68. But the fact that I believe it has to be on something that's so conductive, super conductive, and what that would be Orm gold, ORME. That's monoatomically changed gold into a monoatomic form, which would, 1, cure what ails you, 2, give you superpowers, and 3, enlighten your intelligence, supposedly. But also having it be a superconductor, you could be controlled, which is why I also said 5G isn't going to do that, because it's too short. Too short. You need CERN, Large Hadron Colliders, because how long have they been opening portals, Shawn? Did they need CERN to open portals in the past?
No, they've been doing it for a long time.
We don't need it for that.
Long time. We don't need that.
I think we need it for this, because CERN is also built of many, many, many supercomputers. So I made a video called The Final Union. I don't think I uploaded it to my YouTube yet. Oh yeah, or maybe I did. I did. But everything's on Odyssey, backed up on Odyssey, with my real name, Erin Moffat. But look at this. Scientists created the world's tiniest antenna using DNA. In recent years, scientists realized that DNA could be used to build a variety of nanostructures and nanomachines. In a new study, scientists at the University of Montreal have used DNA to build the world's tiniest antenna. They created this nanoantenna to monitor the structural change of proteins over time. The DNA-based fluorescent nanoantenna was built by taking inspiration from Lego-like properties of DNA. The nanoantenna can help scientists characterize the function of proteins. The U of Montreal chemistry professor, this guy, said, quote, like a two-way radio that can both receive and transmit radio waves. The fluorescent nanoantenna receives light in one color or wavelength, and depending on the protein movement it senses, then transmits back in another, which we can detect. One of the most innovative of these nanoantennae is that the receiver part of the antenna is also employed to sense the molecular surface of the protein studied via molecular interaction, end quote. Another guy from there says, one of the main advantages of using DNA to engineer these nanoantennas is that DNA chemistry is relatively simple and programmable.
Boy. The stuff that they have out now, have had, right? The stuff they, as I said, the stuff they have out now, is, I always talk about, everybody got the latest cell phone, the latest iPhone, whatever. That's old to them. The stuff that, the technology we have is stuff they throw out. It really is. Look at DARPA. Look up DARPA. If you guys don't know what DARPA is, look up DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Project. What is it? Project? Is it agency? I think it is.
Something like that. Good enough.
Yeah. Look up what they got. Look at the technology that they're working with and the things. Look up silent sound spread spectrum. See what that is.
And then look up the fact that on the day that DARPA took down their LifeLog program is the day that Facebook started.
Isn't that something?
It's just to watch us. And people do this 10-year challenge where they show themselves 10 years ago and now. And
updating.
And the best meme is like, FBI's like, how are we going to update our facial recognition software? And Facebook's like, leave it to us. We'll do a 10-year challenge. And everybody does it. Not everybody. A lot of people do it.
But the majority does it. That's my point. And I think that's what your point is. The majority and that's going to be the ones that follow the Antichrist. The majority of people will follow the Antichrist. They will do what they're told, the same way the cops do what they're told, the same way the military does what they're told. Just doing their job. I'm just doing my job. But people just do what we're told. We just, hey, Crouchy said get a snake bite. Okay. He's Crouchy. I believe in him. I trust Crouchy. Crouchy cares about me. The government cares about us, y'all. They care about you so much they're willing to give you a snake bite and a hamburger.
And a
from
donut.
Hardee's.
Don't forget the donut.
Oh, and you get a free donut if you get a snake bite. Why come y'all don't get that?
That's all the articles I had. I would like to urge people to stay tuned on my YouTube channel. I will slowly be uploading a lot of these videos. You'd be surprised they're not easy to find. I'm not that organized on my computer. They are there, but they're not in a nice file like the black goo file and the boule file, because I have all those boule videos. Oh my gosh, I think about how much I have to do again to try to put these into playlists again, and it's not physically exhausting, but it is a little mentally exhausting. But anyway, Rolando says the voice on the video is cutting on and off. Great show. Well, if you're back in the beginning, I mute myself and accidentally muted myself a few times, probably where I shouldn't have, and then I unmute myself. But thank you for coming from Zen's channel. I go on live with Zen every 2 months, and that will help. That's helped the channel grow a little bit to be there. But that's another thing I'm going to have to do, Shawn, I guess, is if we're going to grow again, we're just, I have to start going on other people's channels more often, because that's something I haven't really done much of in a long time.
I used to do that stuff when I on the radio, and that's how I ended up getting on Freedom Miles Radio, because I used to be a guest on Common Sense Radio. I had my own radio show. I was on False Flag Radio. I was everywhere. Knucklebones Radio. I was everywhere, and people were. I wasn't asking them; they were asking me to come on, to talk about either my music or hear what I had to say about certain things going on. So I would go on and do it just like you did. And that's how I ended up getting on one of the biggest networks on Blog Talk, Freedomizer. But that works. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, well, we better start becoming more friendly people then.
What?
I have to become more friendly, I have to try to be friendly to people and say, hey, can I come on your show?
Yeah.
Which means I got to come out of my little isolated world where I get to just talk to you and the few people that I like. And anyway, I'm not that unfriendly, but if you wouldn't mind, would you like to close us out in prayer, and then we'll play a song and be out of here?
Sure. Let's bow our heads, everyone. Heavenly Father, thank you so much, Lord, for a wonderful day, for waking us up and giving us this wonderful day, Lord. Thank you so much for that. Lord, I thank you for giving us this time today to spend with these people here today in the chat room and wherever else they are at listening. I thank you for bringing them to us and giving us the opportunity to speak with them. Lord, I hope that we can open up some eyes and give them the truth that you give us, Lord, that they can start to see what this world is really doing and how Satan has blinded the whole world, Lord, and deceived the whole world. And now he is the father of lies, and now he's using all of his tricks and traits that he has to blind people and to make them believe something that we know that is not real, Lord. Lord, I want to thank you for that. I thank you for this show, for this ministry that we have, for bringing Erin into my life, Lord, for the relationship that we have together. Lord, I thank you so much for that. I thank you for everybody that came into to watch the show, and I hope that, Lord, I ask that you will bless each and every one of them. And Lord, I ask that you will give them the courage to go out and reach out to other people and show them either this show or not just this show, Lord, but to give them the courage to go out and speak your word, mainly, most of all, to speak about you, Lord, and to tell them about you and how to get saved. Because we all know, Lord, that time is short, and we know that salvation is the most important thing. It's not about snake bites. It's not about New World Order stuff. It's about getting saved, Lord. And I ask that you will continue to work in my life and Erin's life and everybody that's listening, that we will go out and do more for the kingdom, more for you, Lord, more witnessing to other people to win more souls for you. Because, Lord, even if that time does come and people aren't saved, at least we'll have planted the seed so that when the time comes, when tribulation starts, they will see that what we talked about was the truth. And they can discern that the Antichrist is not the Messiah, that he is a false God, that he is Satan himself incarnated, and that they can turn, and then, Lord, that's their last chance to get saved. And we pray that they do. And we pray that the words that we speak to them will resonate in their heads and in their hearts, so that when that time comes, that they will remember what we said. and remember what they heard from any of us, and that they will turn to you, Lord, and get saved in that time. I thank you so much for everything that you do for us, Lord. Please continue to bless this ministry and bless all of those that are listening. And just thank you so much for everything, Lord. In Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. And great. Yeah, so I appreciate that. That is a great prayer, a powerful prayer. And thank you to the people that are here live. If you can share, that's great. I don't need it for me. It's like what Shawn just said. It's about reaching souls for salvation and reaching people for the community that we talked about with Zen Garcia last night. I've been talking about that community for a few years. I know I don't talk about it on every video, but I'm going to start talking about it more, especially as I meet with people locally. My friend that I mentioned that I've been meeting with locally about just this. So therefore, thank you for sharing so that we can try to reach more like-minded people, but as well as people who don't know the Lord. And we can bring... Amen. We can try to help be conduits for Father Yahuwah, bringing people to know Yahusha himself. So thank you for that prayer, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for being here. And with that, we'll bid everybody adieu.
God bless you all. Be safe.
Peace. Bye.
A second, y'all, I need y'all to listen. There's something serious going on that you're missing. Some will accept what I say, some dismiss it. I'm talking about the gift of salvation freely given. He's living, walked on this earth sin free, nailed to the cross, shed the blood for you and me. He arose from the grave and he conquered death, gave us the Holy Spirit on the day he left. He shed his blood for each and every one of our sins. Not worthy of his grace, where should I begin? Don't worry about a thing, I keep my faith in him. Renew my mind, take a look at where I've been. I'm a sinner and straight up lost since day one. God loves us and gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have life everlasting. You call it don't matter no way, cause you're going to hell if you ain't saved. I don't want to hear no more of it, I'm tired of the chatter. It ain't about black and white, lost souls matter. Call it don't matter no way, cause you're going to hell if you ain't saved. I don't want to hear no more of it, I'm tired of the chatter. It ain't about black and white, lost souls matter. I don't think you understand the severity in this, so I'ma speak clearly so that you don't miss the opportunity to get saved, cause time's close. You know deep down God loves you the most, but Satan got tricks and traps in place to catch you, to keep you from God's face. Got you all out of sorts and acting all crazy, child of the devil like Rosemary's Baby. I see you tearing down statues and burning down buildings, but I'ma keep it real, we ain't all God's children, cause some don't like the Bible and some be God hating. See, I'm a child of God, but your father is Satan. God's waiting for you to change your ways and repent of your sins. Do it now so you won't regret not doing it today, because heaven you'll be missing and end up in hell because you don't listen. You call it don't matter no way, cause you're going to hell if you ain't saved. I don't want to hear no more of it, I'm tired of the chatter. It ain't about black and white, lost souls matter. Call it don't matter no way, cause you're going to hell if you ain't saved. I don't want to hear no more of it, I'm tired of the chatter. It ain't about black and white, lost souls matter. Call it don't matter no way, cause you're going to hell if you ain't saved. I don't want to hear no more of it, I'm tired of the chatter. It ain't about black and white, lost souls matter. Call it don't matter no way, cause you're going to hell if you ain't saved. I don't want to hear no more of it, I'm tired of the chatter. It ain't about black and white, lost souls matter. Call it don't matter no way, cause you're going to hell if you ain't saved. I don't want to hear no more of it, I'm tired of the chatter. It ain't about black and white, lost souls matter. Call it don't matter no way, cause you're going to hell if you ain't saved. I don't want to hear no more of it, I'm tired of the chatter. It ain't about black and white, lost souls matter.